Tupac Amaru Shakur, even his name sounds like a poem, doesn't it? Long before he became a global rap superstar, he was a boy born into a world of struggle and activism in New York City. His mother, Afeni Shakur, was a member of the Black Panther Party, a group fighting for the rights of Black Americans. This means that from the very beginning, Tupac was surrounded by big ideas about justice, equality, and revolution. It's like being born in the middle of a very important history lesson. You can't help but pay attention, and these early experiences became the building blocks, the very foundation of the powerful messages he would later share with the entire world through his music. Growing up wasn't easy for young Tupac. His family moved around a lot, from New York to Baltimore and then to California, often facing poverty and hardship. But amidst all this chaos, he found a special place where he could shine the stage. He attended the Baltimore School for the Arts, where he studied acting, poetry, and ballet. Yes, you read that right, ballet. It was here that he discovered his talent for words and performance, building his confidence and honing the skills that would make him famous. He was a natural performer, a boy with a spark in his eye and a powerful story just waiting to be told. It was a clear sign of the artist he was destined to become. This early training in the arts gave Tupac a unique edge. He wasn't just a rapper, he was a poet, an actor, and a deep thinker. He could write a poem that would make you cry and then step into a character on screen that felt completely real. This versatility was his superpower. He was like a Swiss Army knife of talent, you know? He had a tool for every situation. This background in different art forms allowed him to express his complex feelings and ideas in ways that other artists simply couldn't. It made his music and his personality incredibly rich and layered, drawing people in from all walks of life. His family's political background and his own experiences with hardship gave him a perspective that was raw, honest, and full of passion. He didn't just see the problems in society, he felt them deep in his bones. This wasn't just some theory for him, it was his everyday reality. He understood the pain of the streets, the struggle for respect, and the dream for a better life because he had lived it himself. This authenticity is what made people connect with him. When Tupac spoke, it wasn't just words. It was the truth coming straight from his heart. And that is a very powerful thing indeed. When Tupac Shakur burst onto the music scene in the early 1990s, it was like a lightning strike. He started as a roadie and backup dancer for the group Digital Underground, but it was clear he was meant for the spotlight. His first album was released in 1991, and it immediately caused a stir. It was bold, it was political, and it was unapologetic. Tupac wasn't just making music to make people dance, he was using his rhymes to talk about serious issues like police brutality, poverty, and teenage pregnancy. He was holding up a mirror to society, and some people found the reflection a little bit uncomfortable, which is usually a sign that an artist is doing something important. His music was a powerful mix of anger and hope, of toughness and vulnerability. In one song he could be the fierce thug life persona, talking about the harsh realities of street life. In the next, like in his famous song Dear Mama, he would show a softer, more emotional side, paying a beautiful tribute to his mother. This ability to show so many different sides of himself made him incredibly relatable. He was the tough guy with a poet's soul. People felt like they knew him because he wasn't afraid to be human, to be flawed, and to be real in his music. It was this complexity that made him more than just a rapper. He was a storyteller for his generation. Tupac's importance went far beyond just selling records, although he sold plenty of them. Over 75 million worldwide, in fact. He became a cultural icon. His style, from the bandanas he wore to his many tattoos, was copied by fans everywhere. But more importantly, his lyrics gave a voice to the voiceless. He spoke for the young black men and women who felt ignored and misunderstood by the system. He articulated their frustrations, their fears, and their dreams with an honesty that was both shocking and refreshing. He wasn't just a musician, he was a leader, a spokesperson for a community that desperately needed one. As his fame grew, so did the controversies surrounding him. The media often focused on his legal troubles and the infamous East Coast-West Coast rap rivalry, sometimes overshadowing the powerful messages in his work. This rivalry, particularly with the notorious Big from New York, became a huge story. Fueled by diss tracks and media hype, it created a narrative of conflict that was exciting for outsiders but dangerous for those involved. Despite all the drama, Tupac continued to create incredible music, releasing hit after hit and cementing his place as one of the most influential and compelling artists of his time. On the night of September 7, 1996, the world of music was changed forever. Tupac Shakur was in Las Vegas, a city of bright lights and big gambles. He had just attended a Mike Tyson boxing match and was riding in a car with Suge Knight, the head of his record label, Death Row Records. They were heading to a nightclub, part of a celebratory evening, but they never made it. While their car was stopped at a red light, a white Cadillac pulled up alongside them, and an unknown gunman fired multiple shots into the vehicle. It was a brutal, shocking act of violence that happened in a flash, right there on the famous Las Vegas Strip. Tupac was hit 4 times. He was rushed to the hospital where he fought for his life for 6 long days. Fans around the world held their breath, praying for his recovery. News reports were confusing. Some said he was stable, others said his condition was critical. There was a glimmer of hope that this larger-than-life figure would somehow pull through. But the injuries were too severe. On September 13, 1996, at the young age of 25, Tupac Shakur passed away. The news sent shockwaves across the globe. A voice that had been so loud, so powerful, and so full of life was suddenly silenced, leaving behind a void that could never be filled. What followed his death was a storm of confusion, grief, and endless questions. The biggest question of all was, who did it? The Las Vegas police investigation seemed to go nowhere fast. There were plenty of witnesses, but no one seemed to be talking. Theories started popping up everywhere. Was it related to the East Coast-West Coast rap feud? Was it a gang-related hit? Was it an inside job? The lack of answers created a mystery that grew bigger and more complicated with each passing year, turning the tragic murder into a modern-day legend. For decades, the case remained cold. No arrests were made and no one was charged. This lack of justice was deeply frustrating for his family, friends, and millions of fans. It felt like a massive failure of the system. How could one of the most famous people in the world be murdered in public, and nobody could figure out who was responsible? This mystery is a huge reason why we are still talking about Tupac's death today. It's not just that a great artist was lost, it's that his story was left without an ending, without the closure that a final chapter of justice would bring. The case reopens. Just when everyone thought the case would remain a mystery forever, there was a sudden, shocking twist. In September 2023, nearly 27 years after the murder, the police made an arrest. A 60-year-old man named Dwayne Keefe D. Davis was taken into custody and charged with Tupac's murder. This was a bombshell moment. For years, Keefe D. had been talking publicly, in interviews and even in his own book, about being there on the night of the shooting. He claimed he was in the car from which the shots were fired, essentially boasting about his involvement. It was almost like he was daring the police to do something about it. The arrest has opened up a whole new chapter in this long and winding story. Keefe D. has pleaded not guilty, and his lawyers are now arguing that all his previous confessions were just for show, done for entertainment purposes to make money. It's a strange defense, isn't it? Like saying I only confessed to a famous murder for clicks and likes. The courts are now trying to untangle this mess. The trial, which was supposed to start in 2024, has been delayed and is now expected sometime in 2025. The whole world is watching to see if this trial will finally bring some real answers after all this time. The case has gotten even more complicated with recent developments. In early 2025, Keefe D's lawyers claimed they have found new witnesses who can prove he wasn't even in Las Vegas that night. This is a massive claim that directly contradicts his own stories. Meanwhile, the judge has denied him bail, saying she has a sense that things are trying to be covered up. It feels like a real-life crime drama playing out in the news, with new twists and turns every few months. This ongoing legal battle keeps the story alive, reminding everyone of the tragedy and the long, frustrating search for the truth. So, why do we still care so much? Because Tupac was more than just a rapper. He was a poet, an activist, and a symbol of rebellion and resilience. His music spoke about timeless struggles that are still relevant today. The fact that his murder remained unsolved for so long added to his legendary status. This new trial isn't just about finding one man guilty or innocent, it's about closing a painful chapter in music history. Whether it brings justice or just more questions, the trial ensures that Tupac Shakur's voice, and the powerful legacy he left behind, will continue to echo for generations to come.